Good evening, beloved. Today I want to speak to your spirit. Life is not just a journey of flesh and bone. It is a refining fire, a spiritual battlefield where destinies are shaped and purposes are tested. There are challenges that come not to destroy you, but to reveal what is within you. Challenges designed to separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, the called from the chosen. The first test comes in the form of isolation. There will be moments when the world turns its back on you, when friends forsake you, and when even your own mind questions your worth. But it is in the silence of isolation that your spirit learns to hear the whisper of the divine. It is here that you discover the power of being alone, but not lonely, separated, but not abandoned. Then there is the test of obedience. Sometimes the voice of purpose will ask you to walk in a direction that defies logic, that contradicts the comforts of the world. It is in these moments that your faith is stretched, that your trust is proven. Can you say yes when the path ahead looks uncertain? Can you obey when the command costs you everything you hold dear? Another test comes in the form of patience. Waiting is not the absence of activity, it is the evidence of trust. Some of you are in the waiting room of life right now, and the delay feels like denial. But let me remind you, the longer the wait, the greater the preparation. What you're waiting for is being prepared for you as you are being prepared for it. Then there is the test of forgiveness. This one breaks many. To let go of the pain inflicted by others, to release those who have wronged you. This is not a sign of weakness, but of strength. Unforgiveness is a prison, but forgiveness is the key that sets you free. Can you rise above the hurt and extend grace even when it is undeserved? The test of sacrifice follows closely behind. There will come a time when you are asked to give up what you love, to lay it down for a greater cause. Sacrifice is the currency of purpose, and nothing of true value is achieved without it. Can you release what is in your hand, trusting that what is to come will far exceed it? The test of perseverance will come when you face opposition so fierce you'll want to give up. This is where many falter. But those who endure will find that strength is born in struggle. It's not about never falling, it's about refusing to stay down. Can you press on when everything in you screams to quit? And finally, the test of identity. The world will try to define you, to label you, to fit you into its mold. But you must know who you are and whose you are. Identity is not found in the applause of man, but in the approval of the divine. Can you stand firm in your calling, even when it makes you stand alone? Beloved, these tests are not designed to break you, but to reveal you. The chosen are not chosen because they avoid the fire. They are chosen because they endure it, emerge from it, and walk out of it refined. Only the chosen survive. But survival is not the end, it is only the beginning of a higher calling. The question is not whether you will face these tests. The question is, will you survive? Will you stand? Will you rise? The tests of life are designed to prepare you, to mold you, to shape you into the vessel capable of carrying the weight of your divine purpose. These tests aren't arbitrary, they are intentional, specific, and customized to the unique calling over your life. They aren't just challenges, they are divine appointments, opportunities to grow in ways that only adversity can bring about. Each test you encounter is like a chisel in the hands of a master sculptor, carving away what is unnecessary to reveal the masterpiece within. Isolation, for instance, feels like abandonment, but it is often divine separation. Consider this: a seed must be buried in the ground, hidden from the world in order to grow. Some of you are in that buried place right now. You feel forgotten, overlooked, and misunderstood. But isolation is not punishment, it is preparation. In those moments when no one sees you, the one who called you is developing you. The stage you seek is not where the work happens. The quiet, unseen places are where your character is forged. It is in the wilderness that leaders are born, prophets are sharpened, and warriors are trained. Don't despise the season of separation. It's where your roots grow deep. Obedience is another test that many struggle with. It's easy to obey when the instructions align with your desires. But what about when obedience requires surrender? When you are asked to walk away from the familiar into the unknown. True obedience isn't about convenience, it's about trust. Abraham didn't hesitate when he was told to leave his homeland, and he didn't argue when he was asked to sacrifice his son. That level of obedience comes from knowing who is speaking to you. It comes from understanding that the one who calls you will also sustain you. Obedience unlocks doors that effort never could. It moves you into realms of favor and opportunity that are reserved for those willing to trust without full understanding. The waiting test often feels unbearable. In a world of instant gratification, waiting can feel like wasted time. But divine timing is perfect. A delay is not a denial, it's an opportunity for alignment. Think of Joseph, who spent years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. It wasn't wasted time, it was preparation. His time in the pit and the prison equipped him for the palace. God's delays are not haphazard, they are strategic. They ensure that when the time comes, you are not only ready for the opportunity, but also capable of sustaining it. Waiting is a process of refining, of stretching your faith, and enlarging your capacity to handle what's coming. Trust the timing. Trust the process. Trust the one who holds your future. Forgiveness is one of the most challenging tests because it requires you to release what feels justified. Holding on to anger, resentment, and bitterness feels like control, but it's a trap. It poisons your spirit and keeps you bound to the very thing you wish to escape. Forgiveness is not about condoning what was done to you. It's about freeing yourself from its grip. It's about choosing peace over pain, freedom over bondage. Jesus forgave even as he hung on the cross. And that act wasn't just for the sake of those who wronged him. It was an example for us. Forgiveness is a pathway to healing, a bridge to restoration. Can you let go? Can you release the weight of the offense and trust that justice belongs to the divine? Sacrifice is a test that reveals where your heart truly lies. What are you willing to let go of to fulfill your purpose? The story of the widow who gave her last meal to the prophet Elijah is a powerful example. She could have clung to her small portion, but she chose to trust and release it. In return, she received an overflow that sustained her through famine. Sacrifice isn't a loss. It's its investment. It's sowing into a future that far outweighs the temporary cost. Sacrifice stretches your faith, teaching you that provision doesn't come from what you hold on to, but from the one who holds you. Perseverance is not just about enduring hardship. It's about maintaining your faith and focus in the midst of it. The enemy knows that if he can't destroy you, he will try to discourage you. He will send storms, setbacks, and struggles to wear you down. But perseverance is the fuel of purpose. It says, I will not give up, no matter how hard it gets. Remember Job, who lost everything but refused to curse God. His perseverance became a testimony that has inspired generations. What you're going through is temporary, but the strength you gain from enduring it is eternal. Don't let the struggle define you, let it refine you. Every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. Identity is perhaps the most critical test of all because it determines how you approach every other test. If you don't know who you are, the world will tell you. It will label you, limit you, and try to define you by your past, your mistakes, or your shortcomings. But your identity is not found in the opinions of others. It is rooted in the one who created you. Before you were formed in the womb, he knew you and called you by name. When you understand your identity, you walk differently. You speak differently. You face challenges differently because you know that you are not defined by them. Identity gives you the confidence to stand firm in the face of opposition, to remain unshaken by the shifting tides of opinion. The truth is, these tests are not isolated events, they are intertwined. They build upon one another, creating a foundation of faith, character, and resilience. Isolation prepares you for obedience. Obedience teaches you patience. Patience strengthens your ability to forgive. Forgiveness unlocks the power of sacrifice. Sacrifice fuels your perseverance. And perseverance affirms your identity. Each test is a stepping stone, leading you closer to the fullness of your purpose. You may be wondering why the chosen ones face such intense trials. It's because the weight of your calling requires the strength to carry it. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Gold is refined in fire. The greater the test, the greater the testimony. The challenges you face are not evidence of failure, they are proof of your potential. The enemy doesn't attack what isn't a threat. If you're feeling the weight of the battle, it's because you are destined to win it. Some of you are in the thick of it right now. You're facing tests that feel insurmountable. But let me remind you, you were not called to survive on your own strength. The one who called you equips you. He strengthens you, sustains you, and walks with you through every valley. The tests are not greater than the grace provided to endure them. You are not alone in this journey. What you're walking through is not punishment, it's preparation. The tests are temporary, but the rewards are eternal. Every tear you've cried, every prayer you've whispered, every step you've taken in faith has not gone unnoticed. The tests you face are the evidence that you are being prepared for something greater than you can imagine. The chosen ones are not chosen because they are perfect. They are chosen because they are willing. Willing to endure, willing to trust, willing to rise above the challenges to fulfill their divine purpose. Keep going, keep trusting, keep believing. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. When you understand the nature of these tests, you begin to see them not as barriers, but as bridges. Each trial you endure serves a purpose greater than the pain it causes. It stretches you, strengthens you, and teaches you lessons that ease your future burdens and sharpen your ability to navigate the complexities of life. The chosen ones are those who recognize that these moments are not random. They are a divine curriculum tailored to build resilience, faith, and wisdom. The test of isolation, for instance, often feels the loneliest. The enemy uses isolation to make you believe you are forgotten or unworthy. But the truth is, isolation often precedes elevation. Look at David tending sheep in the fields, far removed from the public eye, while his destiny as a king was being prepared. In that solitude, he developed skills, courage, and an intimacy with God that no public platform could provide. In isolation, distractions are stripped away, leaving you to confront your deepest fears, dreams, and truths. It's where you learn to hear the still, small voice guiding you, unfiltered by the noise of the world. If you can find peace in isolation, you have already won half the battle. Obedience, however, is where many falter. To obey is to trust fully in what cannot yet be seen. This is the test that separates those who merely believe from those who follow. Obedience often requires you to act against your natural inclinations, to set aside your comfort and step into a place of vulnerability. It asks you to let go of control, to walk into uncertainty with nothing but faith as your guide. Those who pass this test understand that obedience is not about immediate rewards, but about long-term alignment. It's about positioning yourself in the flow of divine will, where every step you take becomes a step closer to fulfilling your purpose. Then there is the weight, stretches your patience and tests the sincerity of your faith. Anyone can believe when the results are immediate, but waiting forces you to believe without evidence. It asks you to maintain hope when nothing seems to be happening. It's easy to grow weary, to question whether you've been forgotten. But waiting is not a passive act, it's an active stance of faith. It's in the waiting that your character is refined, your faith deepened, and your readiness developed. Those who rush ahead may achieve quickly, but they often lack the foundation to sustain what they gain. The chosen ones understand that waiting is not wasting, it's working. Something is being cultivated within you that will make you ready for what lies ahead. Forgiveness tests the heart in ways few other challenges can. It asks you to do the unthinkable, to release someone who has caused you pain, to let go of bitterness and anger that feel justified. But forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about your freedom. When you forgive, you sever the chain that ties you to the pain of the past. You reclaim your peace and your power. It doesn't mean you forget or condone what happened. It means you refuse to let it control you any longer. Forgiveness is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of strength. A declaration that you will not be defined by what was done to you. It is in forgiving that you find healing, and in healing you find the strength to move forward. Sacrifice is perhaps the clearest evidence of commitment. To sacrifice is to place your trust not in what you can see or hold, but in what you believe is coming. It requires you to let go of the good to make room for the greater. It is an act of faith, a declaration that you trust in the source of your provision more than the provision itself. Sacrifice often comes with pain, as it requires you to part with something valuable. But those who pass this test understand that what you release into divine hands is never truly lost. It is multiplied, transformed, and returned in ways that exceed your imagination. Sacrifice is a seed planted in faith, and every seed sown with purpose brings forth a harvest in its season. Perseverance is the test that often breaks the strongest among us. It's not enough to start strong, you must finish well. Perseverance asks, will you keep going when the road is long? Will you remain faithful when the outcome seems uncertain? This test strips away pretenses and reveals the core of who you are. It's easy to be excited at the beginning of a journey, but what happens when the excitement fades? Perseverance requires grit, determination, and a deep sense of purpose. It is in the moments when you want to quit, when every fiber of your being says it's too hard, that perseverance is forged. Those who endure are not necessarily the strongest or the fastest, but the ones who refuse to give up. They understand that every step forward, no matter how small, brings them closer to their destiny. Identity is the foundation upon which all these tests rest. If you do not know who you are, you will be swayed by every challenge, every opinion, and every setback. The chosen ones are those who understand that their identity is not determined by circumstances or the opinions of others. It is rooted in something unchanging, something eternal. When you know who you are unshakable. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone, because your worth is not up for debate. This sense of identity allows you to face trials with confidence, to stand firm in the face of adversity, and to walk boldly your purpose. These tests are not arbitrary or random. They are divine tools crafted to prepare you for the unique calling on your life. Each test you face is a step in your transformation, a piece of the puzzle that reveals the bigger picture. The chosen ones are those who endure not because they are perfect, but because they are persistent. They fall, but they rise again. They face fear, but they choose faith. They encounter obstacles, but they see them as opportunities. Every moment of pain, every tear shed, and every prayer whispered in the dark is not wasted. It is building something within you that cannot be shaken. These tests are the evidence that you are being prepared for something extraordinary. They are not the end of your story. They are the beginning of a new chapter, one that reveals the depth of your strength, the power of your faith, and the magnitude of your calling. The question is not whether you will face these tests. You will. The question is how you will respond. Will you rise above the pain, the fear, and the doubt? Will you embrace the refining process, trusting that it is leading you toward your destiny? The chosen ones are those who say yes. Yes to the process. Yes to the challenge. Yes to the purpose that awaits on the other side of the test. Every test you pass is a testament to your resilience, a stepping stone to a higher calling, and a confirmation of the greatness within you. The chosen ones are not chosen because they avoid the fire. They are chosen because they walk through it and come out refined. You are chosen. You are capable. And you are being prepared for something far greater than you can imagine. Keep pressing forward. Your breakthrough is on the horizon, and the tests you endure today are the foundation of the victories you will celebrate tomorrow. When the fire of testing grows hotter, it's easy to wonder if the pressure is too much to bear. But the chosen ones understand that the fire is not meant to consume them, it is meant to purify. Gold is refined in flames, and the impurities are burned away, leaving behind something precious and enduring. Every test you face is a part of this refining process, stripping away what is unnecessary, shaping you into the person you were created to be. The chosen ones survive because they understand that the pain is temporary, but the purpose is eternal. Isolation is often the first step in this journey, the quiet seasons where the familiar voices fall silent and the crowds disappear. Feel uncomfortable because they force you to face yourself. These moments are not accidental. They are divinely orchestrated to remove the noise and distractions that cloud your vision. In isolation, you learn to discern the voice of the divine, to distinguish between what is real and what is fleeting. You discover strength you didn't know you had, and you build an intimacy with your Creator that cannot be shaken by the opinions of the world. Isolation is not rejection, it is redirection. It is the place where the foundation of your purpose is laid. Obedience is the next test, and it often requires you to act without full understanding, to follow a command that defies logic, to step out in faith when the ground beneath you feels unsteady is a challenge that stretches your trust. It's in these moments that you learn the depth of your reliance on something greater than yourself. True obedience is not about blind submission. It is about confident trust. It's saying yes even when the road ahead is unclear, because you trust the one who called you. The chosen ones pass this test not because they have all the answers, but because they know where their answers come from. Obedience is a doorway to growth, and every act of surrender strengthens the bond between you and your purpose. Patience is tested in the waiting. Waiting for answers, waiting for breakthroughs, waiting for promises to be fulfilled. This is where many falter. The chosen ones endure because they understand that waiting is not inactivity, it is preparation. Seeds planted in the ground take time to grow, and during that time, they are not idle. They are growing roots, establishing a foundation that will sustain them when they finally break through the surface. The waiting season is your rooting season. It is where your character is formed, your faith is tested, and your endurance is built. Those who embrace the wait come out stronger, more resilient, and ready for the harvest. Forgiveness, perhaps one of the hardest tests, demands that you let go of what you feel entitled to hold on to. The hurt, the betrayal, the anger, all of it feels justified, but holding on to it only weighs you down. Forgiveness is not about excusing what was done to you, it's about freeing yourself from the chains of resentment. It is a decision to choose healing over hurt, peace over pain, and freedom over bondage. The chosen ones forgive because they understand that unforgiveness is a barrier to their purpose. It clouds the heart and blocks the flow of grace. To forgive is to rise above, to reclaim your power, and to move forward unencumbered by the weight of the past. Sacrifice is a test that reveals where your heart truly lies. To sacrifice is to let go of what is good to make room for what is greater. It is an act of trust that says, I believe in the promise more than I value the present comfort. Sacrifice often feels like loss, but in the divine economy, it is always gain. What you give up is never wasted. It is transformed into something far greater than you could imagine. The chosen ones understand that sacrifice is not about what you lose, but about what you gain. They know that the temporary pain of letting go is far outweighed by the joy of walking in their purpose. Perseverance is the test that often feels the longest. It is not enough to begin the journey with enthusiasm, you must finish with endurance. Perseverance asks you to keep going when the road gets tough, to remain faithful when the promises seem distant, and to hold on to hope when the circumstances look bleak. This test separates those who are merely interested from those who are committed. The chosen ones persevere because they understand that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory. They refuse to let setbacks define them. They keep moving, knowing that the journey is shaping them into who they were meant to be. Identity is the cornerstone of every test. Without a firm understanding of who you are, every challenge will feel like a threat. The chosen ones know that their identity is not defined by their circumstances, their failures, or the opinions of others. It is rooted in something unshakable, something eternal. When you know who you are, you face trials with confidence, knowing that they cannot change the core of your being. Your identity gives you the strength to stand firm, the courage to persevere, and the wisdom to navigate the storms of life. It is your anchor, holding you steady in the midst of uncertainty. These tests are not random, they are intentional. Each one builds upon the last, creating a foundation that is unshakable. Isolation teaches you to listen. Obedience teaches you to trust. Patience teaches you to wait. Forgiveness teaches you to release. Sacrifice teaches you to let go. Perseverance teaches you to endure. And identity teaches you to stand. Together they form the blueprint for a life of purpose. A life that is resilient, courageous, and unyielding. The chosen ones are not chosen because they are perfect. They are chosen because they are willing. Willing to face the fire, willing to endure the process, and willing to trust the purpose. They fall, but they rise again. They doubt, but they press on. They face fear, but they choose faith. Every test they pass is a testament to their resilience, a stepping stone to a higher calling, and a confirmation of the greatness within them. You may feel the weight of these tests bearing down on you, but remember, they are not here to destroy you, they are here to reveal you, to strip away what is temporary and uncover what is eternal, to prepare you for the calling that is uniquely yours. The chosen ones endure because they understand that the pain is temporary, but the purpose is eternal. They know that every tear, every struggle, and every prayer is not wasted. It is building something within them that cannot be shaken. The tests you face today are shaping you for the victories of tomorrow. They are refining you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the purpose that awaits. You are chosen not because of what you have done, but because of who you are becoming. And as you walk through the fire, remember that you are not alone. The one who called you is with you, guiding you, strengthening you, and leading you to a destiny greater than you could ever imagine. Keep going, for the tests you endure today are the foundation of the triumphs you will celebrate tomorrow. The journey of life is one of relentless refinement, and the chosen ones are those who embrace the process rather than resist it. Each test you face is designed not to weaken you, but to strengthen you, not to diminish you, but to elevate you. Life's trials, no matter how daunting, are the instruments of growth, shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying the weight of your divine purpose. The chosen ones understand that the path to greatness is not paved with ease, but with endurance, and they face every challenge with a heart set on victory. Isolation for many feels like abandonment. It is a season where the familiar is stripped away and the silence feels deafening. Yet, in that silence lies an invitation to deeper intimacy with the Creator. In isolation, distractions are removed and your spirit is drawn closer to the source of your strength. David learned to lead in isolation while tending his father's sheep. It was there, away from the applause of men, that he developed the courage to face Goliath and the humility to shepherd a nation. The chosen ones do not despise isolation. They see it as a sacred space where they are prepared for what is to come. They recognize that being set apart is not rejection but refinement, a time to build the foundation of their identity and purpose. Obedience tests your willingness to trust without complete understanding. It asks you to lay down your desires and plans to align with a higher calling. When Abraham was called to leave his homeland and later to offer his son, he did so without hesitation, because he understood that obedience is not about convenience but about trust. Obedience positions you to receive blessings that disobedience would forfeit. The chosen ones respond to the call of obedience not out of obligation but out of faith. They walk in the assurance that what is required of them is far less than the reward that awaits. Each act of obedience is a step closer to fulfilling their purpose, a demonstration of their unwavering belief in the promises set before them. The waiting test challenges the very fabric of your patience. In a world where speed is valued, waiting feels like failure. Yet the chosen ones understand that waiting is not passive, it is active preparation. Joseph waited in prison for years, not knowing that his release would coincide perfectly with his purpose. During that time, he was not idle. He was being refined, gaining wisdom and perspective that would prepare him to lead a nation. Waiting builds character, sharpens faith, and strengthens resolve. It is not a punishment, but a season of preparation, where you are equipped for the responsibilities that come with your calling. The chosen ones wait not with despair, but with expectation, knowing that every moment serves a purpose in the grand design of their lives. Forgiveness is a test that pierces the soul because it requires you to confront your deepest wounds and release them. It is easy to hold on to bitterness, to nurture anger and resentment, but the chosen ones understand that forgiveness is not a gift to the offender. It is freedom for them. It is freedom for the offended. It is a declaration that you will not be bound by the actions of others or by the pain of the past. Forgiveness is an act of strength, a refusal to allow bitterness to take root in your heart. It opens the door to healing and restores peace where chaos once reigned. The chosen ones forgive because they recognize that their purpose is too great to be hindered by the weight of unforgiveness. They release the pain not because it is easy, but because it is necessary for their growth. Sacrifice is a test that reveals where your true allegiance lies. It is easy to cling to what you have, to hold tightly to your possessions, your plans, and your comfort. But the chosen ones know that sacrifice is not about loss, it is about gain. It is an act of trust, a willingness to release what is in your hands to receive something far greater. When the widow gave her last meal to Elijah, she demonstrated a faith that unlocked a miracle. Sacrifice is a seed sown into the soil of faith, and the harvest it produces is always greater than the cost. The chosen ones embrace sacrifice not with reluctance, but with anticipation, knowing that it aligns them with the divine flow of provision and purpose. Perseverance is the test that demands endurance. It is not enough to begin the journey with enthusiasm, you must finish with determination. Perseverance is the fuel that keeps you moving forward when the road is long and the obstacles seem insurmountable. It is what sustains you in the face of disappointment and strengthens you when hope seems distant. Job's story is a testament to the power of perseverance. Despite losing everything, he remained steadfast, and his latter days were greater than his former. The chosen ones persevere because they understand that quitting is not an option. They press on, knowing that every step, no matter how small, brings them closer to their breakthrough. Perseverance is not about the absence of struggle, but about the presence of unyielding faith. Identity is the anchor that holds you steady in the midst of life's storms. Without a clear understanding of who you are, every challenge becomes a threat. The chosen ones are rooted in their identity, not in what they do, but in who they are. They know that their worth is not determined by success or failure, by applause or criticism, but by the unchanging truth of their creation. This understanding gives them the courage to face trials with confidence, to stand firm when the ground beneath them shakes. Identity is the foundation upon which every other test is built. It gives you the strength to endure isolation, the courage to obey, the patience to wait, the grace to forgive, the faith to sacrifice, and the determination to persevere. Each test you face is a stepping stone, a necessary part of the journey toward your purpose. The chosen ones are not exempt from these challenges. They are defined by how they respond to them. They understand that the trials are not random, they are intentional, designed to prepare them for the weight of their calling. The chosen ones do not shy away from the process, they embrace it, knowing that every moment of pain, every tear shed, and every step taken in faith is shaping them into the person they were created to be. The journey is not easy, but it is worth it. The tests you face are not there to break you, they are there to build you. They are the evidence of your growth, the proof of your potential. The chosen ones endure not because they are stronger or better, but because they are committed to the process. They fall, but they rise again. They doubt, but they choose faith. They face fear, but they press forward with courage. You are not defined by the tests you face, but by how you respond to them. Each challenge is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become more. The chosen ones understand this truth, and they live it out every day. They know that the path to purpose is not straight or easy, but it is worth every step. Keep moving forward, for the tests you endure today are preparing you for the triumphs of tomorrow. You are chosen, and the process is shaping you into the person you were always meant to be. Trust the journey, embrace the process, and know that your best days are ahead. The tests you face are not meant to break you, but to reveal the strength within you and the greatness ahead of you. Every trial, every season of waiting, every step of obedience, and every act of forgiveness is shaping you into the person you were destined to become. You were not chosen by accident. You were chosen with intention, crafted with purpose, and called to endure. Because there is something extraordinary on the other side of your perseverance. The fire may feel overwhelming, but it is refining you. The isolation may feel lonely, but it is preparing you. The sacrifices may seem costly, but they are paving the way for a harvest you cannot yet see. Chosen ones are not those who live without struggle, but those who press through the struggle with unshakable faith and unwavering determination. So rise up and embrace the process. Let the test strengthen your resolve and sharpen your vision. Remember, you are not defined by what you face, you are defined by how you rise above it. You are chosen for a purpose far greater than you can imagine, and every test is preparing you to walk boldly in that purpose. Stand firm, stay faithful, and keep moving forward, for your greatest victories are still ahead.